Well, good morning. We get to talk about HIPAA today and why it's important. Let's give you an example. Why would you think HIPAA is important? Sharing someone's private health information. Well, if I said EMTA is out here blabbing about the chief and his wife having herpes or something, do you think the chief would be happy with that? No, he'd probably beat you up or at least accost you in some way. So this case study has been brought to my attention and it requires me to address it. So a similar service to the one I work for, which shall remain nameless, has been given attention recently for a breach of HIPAA, or the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. This concept, we teach it in EMR, we teach it in EMTB, EMTA, it's repeated in paramedic, it's repeated. And it's always been the first learning module, and it's called the Preparatory Module. It's to prep you for being a healthcare provider. Most EMS personnel have a kind of a loose understanding of what this act is, and for you to really grasp it, know that it was put in place in around 96, and it protects people's private healthcare information. Case studies always be used about certain diseases and traumatic events, but people's private information and who it happened to should be kept private. So most people, again, have that loose understanding. Before HIPAA, I mean, it was kind of a free-for-all. There wasn't anything really governing you keeping somebody's information private. But according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, a major goal of this security rule is to protect the privacy of individuals' health information while allowing covered entities to adopt new technologies to improve the quality and efficiency of patient care. Given that the healthcare marketplace is very diverse, the security rule is designed to be flexible and scalable so the covered entity can do what? Implement policies and procedures for its particular size. So how does this apply to us in the pre-hospital setting? That's the question today. Anyone who's directly involved in patient care, that's from the firefighter, the EMT, the EMR, whoever's on the scene that is a healthcare provider of any sort, this applies to you. So this act protects a person's personal information, like their name, their address, their phone number, all that stuff you're getting from getting a very good, solid, patient history and being very thorough, head to toe, systematic with it. Of course you are. It's all protected in that. And who are you going to share this with? Who? That is right. You're thinking about possibly only giving it to the nurse who's directly involved in patient care, or for our services around here, perhaps the transporting unit who will come and pick up. Give them the appropriate information. Don't go on Facebook and text it and blab it out to your buddies, even though it might have been an interesting case. So what about cell phone use? I teach students very, very strongly to stay away from cell phone use and only communicate what they need to the doctors and nurses. And we actually very, very much discourage that use around here. Cell phones are not allowed in our service area for communicating patient information at all. There's no sharing pics of this cool Rick. Hey, doc, check this out. When I was in South Georgia in the redneck country, it was more common down there, but I still thought it was a terrible practice. Because what if somebody saw that in like a small town, like, hey, I know that car. That's my boy. And then they know and they can spread that information on Facebook. That's going to make you liable. This could violate HIPAA if someone who knows the individual can identify the vehicle and the persons. So what happens if you have an oopsie and violate HIPAA? Well, according to the HIPAA journal, the penalties for HIPAA noncompliance are based on the perceived level of negligence and can range from $100 to $50,000. I don't know about you, but I ain't got that kind of money lying around per individual violation, with a max penalty of $1.5 million per calendar year for violations. I don't have that kind of money laying around either. Additionally, violations can result in jail time for the individuals responsible. So will it hurt your organization? Well, according to the Journal of Healthcare Protection Management, about 30 to 45% of breaches in protected healthcare information involve individuals. Yet in most cases, it's the hospital held liable for the breach, or the fire department, or the EMS service. You could damage and hurt the service around you. What if you work for a private service that's, not that big? $1.5 million hit could wipe them out. You and all your buddies would be now jobless. We call that kind of a ripple effect. A drop of water hits the water, and a lot of broad and strange things will start to happen after that. So I want you this week to think about HIPAA, about being compliant, about being cognitive of, would you want this shared if it was your family member? Just Keep it simple. Share it with only people who directly are involved with patient care. I appreciate your time this week. Have a good one.